Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. John Cornett and Jan Sue Hurst are standing by. Welcome to the show, folks.
Welcome.
Casper Leach is here to co-host the show with me.
Happy Friday.
And we'll be taking your calls and questions here shortly after we bring on our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
And here is John Cornett and Jan Sue Hurst.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Paul.
folks.
Hey, I just wanted to send a shout out to the Candyman. He's sick tonight with the flu. We just want to, if you guys got a minute, throw out a prayer for Brother Gary, Candyman. Yeah. And this is a Beatles song. Can't buy me love, love can't buy me love. Buy you diamond ring, my friend, if it makes
you feel alright.
It makes you anything, my friend.
If it makes you feel alright.
'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. I give you all I got to give.
If you say you love me too,
I may not have a lot to give,
but what I got I'll give to you.
'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love.
Everybody tells me so.
Can't buy me love. No, 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 no. Say don't need no diamond ring.
And I'll be satisfied.
Tell me that you want the kind of things
The money just can't buy.
'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love.
Everybody tells me so.
Can't buy me love. No, 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 no. Say you don't need no diamond rings.
And I'll be satisfied.
Tell me that you want the kind of things.
The money just can't buy.
'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love. Love can't buy me love.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, John and Jan Sue. Welcome to the show again, Casper.
Thank you very much.
Welcome you viewers. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448.
And we do care much for money. They can give a donation to this petition drive that you're working on, can't
That's
they?
right. The Cannabis Tax Act initiative drive now has about 75,000 signatures. We need 87,000 valid registered Oregon voter signatures by July 6th. And so we are in the middle of a paid petition campaign, but we love volunteers as well. We have a good deal of volunteer support. The way you can tell the difference between a volunteer petitioner and a paid petitioner here in the state of Oregon is volunteer petitioners, their sheets are colored. They generally have a pastel colors. Ours is pastel green. And if you see the green petition out there for marijuana, be sure to sign it. And volunteer signatures, on the other hand, are gathered on white initiative petitions. So our initiative would legalize the sale of marijuana through state licensed stores. It would license farmers to grow it, processors to process it, and it would also allow individuals to just grow their own. It would legalize the sale of seeds and starts of cannabis. You wouldn't need a license to be able to grow your own or to sell seeds and starts of cannabis. And also you wouldn't need a license to grow industrial hemp for fuel, fiber, and food. And we believe that that is going to be the primary economic engine of our initiative. When we legalize hemp and cannabis, I think that hemp seed oil and hemp seed protein and the fiber from the stalk of the plant will dwarf the drug market in rapid order. I mean, we already see hemp food, hemp oil body products in our stores and beautician shops and things like that. And we will see more hemp fiber for paper, canvas, rope, lace, linen, building materials, and literally over 100,000 different products could be made out of hemp. And I believe that will be the primary engine of our initiative that will change the whole economic paradigm and return control of, because it's the most productive plant, produces more fuel, fiber, food, and medicine than any other plant on this planet, and is also among the first crops purposely grown by people. In fact, many archaeologists believe it could well be the first crop. At least 12,000 years ago, perhaps as much as 30,000 years ago, people began farming cannabis and growing it for food and fiber, fuel, and medicine. And so we believe that our initiative will change the world. We need your help to do that. And so you can go to our website right there on the screen, cannabistaxact.org. At that website, you can sign the petition. You can print out a petition on a white sheet of paper, sign it, and mail it back to our office there at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard, or you can bring it in person if you like. And you can also click there and make a donation. Now, for Oregon taxpayers who make a donation, you can get a tax credit of up to $50 per person. That means that if you are filing your taxes and you're going to get a $100 refund and you have that $50 credit, you'll get a $150 refund. If you had to pay $100 in taxes and you have that $50 credit, you'll only have to pay $50. So you could actually consider it a loan to our initiative that the state of Oregon will pay back next year when you file your Oregon taxes. So just go to cannabistaxact.org. Well, thanks for that segue.
Wavy Gravy would certainly like to be here in Oregon, because I often asked him, Wavy, if you could live anywhere, where would it be? And he said someplace where I could roll in hemp, cover my body in hemp, wear hemp, eat hemp, smell hemp, and smoke hemp. And it sounds like that's what's going to happen when this initiative passes.
He is in Northern California these days, down in the San Francisco Bay, where I was just last week, and I didn't see Wavy Gravy down there.
Hi, Wavy Gravy, but you saw Uncle Ed.
We can wave at Wavy Gravy. Huh?
You saw Uncle Ed, though, didn't you?
I did. I saw Ed Rosenthal, who was most gracious and gave me a stack of books and autographed all of them. I also got to see Steve D'Angelo, who's been the focus of the Discovery Channel television series Weed Wars. He's doing very well. In fact, he kind of put on this festival down there, the Deep Green Festival. I got to speak and be on KPFA public radio there in Berkeley.
Nice. It's a pretty famous station.
It is, it is.
Very famous station.
Got to meet some very interesting people. And we've got our first phone call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Yes, hello.
Howdy.
I was wondering, I have a grow site, and I'm looking at moving to a house that's near a school. Is there anything in the Oregon law that says you have to be a certain number of feet away from a school?
No, there is not. Now, there is something in the law for people who are growing marijuana illegally, both in federal and state law that says you have to be more than 1,000 feet away from a school. But if you have a medical marijuana permit and the cannabis that you're growing is out of public view where no one can see it, then you aren't affected by that law.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, you just have to keep it private. You don't want school kids, obviously, to see your crop. That would be some enticement of some sort, perhaps, that we definitely would not want to support.
Which
So,
you've been playing farmer in this past week, going from
Just
indoor
today,
to outdoor.
we took our 3 to 4 foot tall plants and put them into our outdoor garden. So we're getting ready for our patience harvest. I like to call it America's most public cannabis garden. It's been photographed by numerous press people, including a stint back a few years ago on CNN's Anderson Cooper 360.
And some of your little plants that you transplanted outdoors are about what already? 4, 5, 9 feet?
No, they're not 9 feet, but between 3 and 4 feet from the top, from the ground to their tippy tops.
Well, they look big enough to hug.
They'll look a lot bigger though come October, mid-October, which will be the time of harvest. So we're gearing up for that. If you have a question or a comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448, and we have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, is
Howdy.
you hear me?
I can, yes, thank you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was me or you talking on my phone.
It's you.
I have a question. I'm on the borderline of glaucoma. My mom had glaucoma.
My mom has it too.
Pardon me?
My mother has glaucoma too.
Yeah, and of course, I've been smoking illegally, of course, for many, many years, which I'm not now, but I'm concerned that it could hit me. It hit her at the age of 59, and I'm 62. Also, I have an abnormal brainwave. I don't have epilepsy, but I don't know if you've seen the brainwave pattern. They're like 8 or 9 little pointy hills.
Sure.
So the last one
Yeah,
is
on the
short.
EEG, the little spikes on the electrical readout.
Right. Well, I don't know how many there are, but they all go up like a little pointed hill.
Yeah.
Well, the last one is only half the size of the others. I
What
don't
did
have
the
epilepsy.
neurologist say about that?
Pardon me?
What did your neurologist say about that, or your physicians?
I was a kid when they did it.
Oh, I see.
So I cannot go under old-fashioned fluorescent lights and concentrate for more than just a couple minutes. I mean, after a couple minutes. I go to doctor's offices and I can't even concentrate after a few minutes. And they wonder what's wrong with me because I'm just keep talking and nothing really makes sense anymore, you know?
Some people find they're impacted by the artificial light and artificial chemicals that are so prevalent in our society.
Right.
Sounds like you're one of those people.
Yes.
Yeah, cannabis lowers interocular pressure, and so it's a great adjunct for other therapies. I wouldn't recommend giving up your other therapies. What I've heard from people who have really advanced glaucoma is that, and these are people who can often go blind before they're 50, is that cannabis, using it with their other medicines, makes the other medicines work better and last longer. They only have 6 medicines for glaucoma, and if you run through, if you take the first one, it gradually becomes less and less effective, second one, and so on. Once you've gone through that whole regimen, they don't have anything after that. So cannabis increases the efficacy or the effect of those different medicines and increases the duration which they're effective, and makes it longer so that you don't have to switch to the next one so quickly.
Yeah. One more thing is, see, I have allergies. I'm allergic to MSG and petroleum, so if there's MSG in the eye drops, I can't use them.
I see.
So I don't know if I'd be eligible, but see, I've been smoking.
Well, you would be definitely, if you have glaucoma, that alone is a qualifying condition in every medical marijuana state. And you would qualify for medical marijuana, so you could definitely get a permit in any medical marijuana state and become a legal medical marijuana patient.
Right. I called your number at the office, and they told me that I wouldn't be eligible because I'm on the borderline.
Oh. Well, I would, if you have any other conditions, then just, or if it increases, then by all means you could continue. Of course, I haven't looked at your records or even know exactly who you are, of course.
Right.
But so if they said it was borderline, how old were your records?
Well, all my life. But
the records that they said indicated that you were borderline glaucoma, which is based upon your interocular pressure, the pressure in your eyes. How old were those records?
I have one when I was just had quit, and I have another one. It was 3 years later, and
I how
have
long
those
ago
records,
was that? 3 years later.
About 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 or 4 years ago.
So you might have it checked again, and make sure you aren't taking any cannabis or any other glaucoma medications before you have it checked, and you might qualify now.
Afterwards, at a true pressure, or should I wait longer?
I think that if you just went without cannabis for a couple of days and had it checked, because I've seen patients who are on medications go into their ophthalmologist just using cannabis and see their pressures drop way below the levels that are dangerous. And so I would recommend going without cannabis for a couple of days and make sure you aren't taking any other medications. Go to your ophthalmologist and have it checked, and you could well qualify at that point.
I don't have it anymore. I've been off for about a week, so.
Yeah, just go in your ophthalmologist and have those pressures checked again, and if they're in the danger zone, then you would definitely qualify for medical marijuana, and then you could use that.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. In fact, if you have any of those conditions there, chronic pain counts for the largest single condition, affecting over 60% of patients who have medical marijuana cards in all the areas where you get them. Then seizure conditions and spastic conditions such as epilepsy or multiple sclerosis are very common conditions. Also, as we were discussing, glaucoma, cachexia, the inability to eat, all of those conditions here, cancer, AIDS. So if you have any of those and you're looking for a doctor who can help you get medical marijuana, we have clinics all over the country. They'll be happy to help you. You can call us at 503-235-4606, or if you're outside of the Portland area, you can call our toll-free number. That's 1-800-723-0188. Again, that's 1-800-723-0188. Or in the Portland area, again, it's 503-235-4606. And we have another caller. Welcome back to the show. Hello,
guys.
caller.
How you doing tonight?
Very well.
Happy Friday.
For sure. I wanted to ask about, I'm interested in vaporizing.
Uh-huh.
And what stopped me so far is the price that I've seen for a lot of the commercial vaporizers.
Sure.
As well as the idea of smoking out of a big plastic bag.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple weeks ago, I think it was, a short clip where Paul was vaping with someone. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, well, that was an old video, probably from approximately 2003. It's with the fellow who invented the Vriptech vaporizer, which is shaped kind of like a water pipe, and you use a heat gun. And there are a lot of heat guns out there. The first vaporizer I ever used employed a heat gun and was made down in Eugene by a fellow named Michael Golden. And he still sells his vaporizers, the Mystifiers, with a Y. And you can make your own vaporizer. I know a volunteer who often works on our show and elsewhere, Kevin and Sylvia Hornich. They have the Pink Elephant Vaporizer Company, and they make little vaporizer systems here in the Portland area. There are also little boxes that work pretty well. You put the cannabis in a little glass pipe, and it has a tube, and you just inhale through that. Those work really, really well. And there are new, very portable vaporizers that take concentrated oil and that vaporize that oil. And I was given one, a very nice one, that had all the terpenes accompany it, so it had really good flavor when I was down at the Deep Green Festival in California here last weekend.
And vaporizing is all you do because it's healthier, right?
That's right. I had a bad cough at about 10 years ago at my early 40s. Now I'm 51. And so I changed to the vaporizer, and that bad cough went away within a couple of weeks. And I prefer it myself now. Some people don't like it as much. Some people with smoking, whether it be tobacco or cannabis, get carbon monoxide and become used to the effects of carbon monoxide. And therefore they think that's part of the cannabis effect, but actually you don't get that once you vaporize. And you also don't cough nearly as much. And so I greatly prefer vaporization myself.
And if you listen to Time for Hemp every Tuesday, you'll find that my joint host for that day gives away once a month a free vaporizer to anybody in the medical marijuana community who's needing medical marijuana but cannot afford a KDK Distributors.
KDK Distributors out of Canada. I know at least 2 patients here in the Portland area that he has given a free vaporizer to. Mm-hmm. And so he gives away 1 or 2 of those every month to patients who write him, and he picks one of those out.
And vaporizing is so amazing that Paul has this pretty much chained to him, don't you? Wherever you go, your vaporizer is pretty much locked to you.
Well, I carry it with me just about everywhere. I've carried it on hundreds of flights, and I always put it in its own little bin when I go through TSA security, and they often test it. But they're testing for explosives, and since I never handle explosives,
and he's all set up, so you got your extension cords, you got your extra bags.
That's right. I always travel with. In fact, one time here at the Portland airport, the TSA guy told me my dad's got one of those, and he's got his medical card, and he really likes those Volcano vaporizers. Now the Volcano's expensive, and it does employ the bag method of delivery, but the best vaporizer is the one you use. Because when you stop smoking, it's just a lot better for your lungs. You've eliminated all the harm associated with smoking while still getting all the benefit from the antioxidant properties of cannabis that fight cancer and aging, and the anti-inflammatory propriety of cannabis as well.
I've tried a couple of the homemade types and just haven't been really satisfied with the way they work. And maybe I'm not sure about how to do it, because I know that you're not supposed to really burn the material, if I understand correctly.
If it burns, it's gone a little bit too far. And that's the problem with some of the heat guns, is that they will go up high enough to burn. You want to get it right between about 350 and 370 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 180 degrees Celsius.
And I've learned the hard way. You got to be patient. If you want to get high at 10,
I
start
have to
the
go
thing
and
at
show
10
him how to
till.
use it's the Herbal Air vaporizer, right? The Herbal Air is a pretty good one. It's not too expensive, and that's the one that the guy at KDKA gives away.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And just one last question. I've got quite a bit of extra seed. Is there somewhere I can donate that?
Oh, yeah. Is there?
Yeah. Seeds are always useful for patients. If you'd like to bring them down and donate it at our clinic, we'll make sure they get out to needy people.
And they'll get grown, right?
Yeah.
All right, great.
The best seed is the one that's growing now.
All right, thanks for your call, and thanks for your offer to help other patients. We'll be happy to pass those on to patients in need.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-235-4606. We're going to run a video clip, and we'll be back in just a moment. Take more of your calls, questions, and comments.
Dwight has referred to this law as a train wreck. Okay, so it's interesting that he wants to uphold the law, but his attitude about it is that it's a potential disaster. My attitude about it is similar to my attitude about many of our pioneering laws in Oregon, starting when I was first in law school when we passed land use planning laws, Senate Bill 100, then going all the way through the bottle bill and the death with dignity laws and the Oregon medical marijuana laws. I was here living in this state, serving as a lawyer and a judge when all those laws were passed, and my attitude is quite different. My attitude is there have been some bumpy roads, maybe even some bumpy rides, but I don't view it as a train wreck. I view it as a law that the people passed, and we need to work with it. And if there need to be some modest changes in order to ensure that people are getting access to their medication, and that I think is the most important issue, the most important concern of our 60,000 some odd medical marijuana card holders, that they aren't getting access and that they're worried that they're going to be arrested for just trying to get access to their medication.
Let's move on to your stance on medical marijuana. Where are you on that?
Well, medical marijuana is the law. There's an Oregon Medical Marijuana Act, and so as Attorney General, I will enforce that law just like I'll enforce every other law on the books.
And that's it? No changes needed?
Well, from what I gather from the people who hold medical marijuana cards, there are some issues concerning access. They feel that they don't get the sufficient access to their medical marijuana, and they're concerned that, again, my opponent, when he was a federal prosecutor, was cracking down on the places that provide access to medical marijuana. And so I think there's a sense that maybe there needs to be some changes in the law, or at least some minor adjustments in order for people to feel that they get access to the medical marijuana to which they're entitled. 3,000 doctors in our state have authorized cards to medical marijuana holders, and apparently there's an issue there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to enforce the law.
Before we go, just quickly, why should people vote for you?
People should vote for me because I have the experience, I have the knowledge, and I have the respect of the voters in the state. I have over 1,000 contributors to my campaign. I have the support of Governor Roberts. I have the support of former Attorneys General Dave Frohnmeyer and Hardy Myers. I have the support of 2 of the former U.S. attorneys who headed up the office that Mr. Holton used to, Charlie Turner and Chris Olson. And I got to tell you, they're wonderful people, but they've never agreed on anything except for me. Absolutely opposites in many respects. So I'm very proud to have their support, the support of our Congressman Earl Blumenauer, and most important of all, I want to look out for our citizens. I want to take care of our children and our families and our seniors, and that's why it's important for me to be your next Attorney General.
We wish you lots of luck, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
We're back more after this.
Amazing.
So that is Ellen Rosenblum, who's running for Oregon's Attorney General spot. As she mentioned there, her opponent is has been a federal prosecutor and was a temporary U.S. attorney for the state of Oregon. And in that capacity, he cracked down on multiple patient gardens, went down there and seized their medicine. And so those patients are just without. He left hundreds of patients without medicine by seizing their gardens. And so we strongly support Ellen Rosenblum. She will protect us, and when we pass our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition, the Attorney General will be defending it in federal court, and we prefer that Ellen Rosenblum make that defense. And so we recommend that if you're a Oregon registered voter, that there is no Republican running for state Attorney General this year, so the Democratic primary will pretty much decide effectively who the Attorney General is going to be, and will be the only one on the ballot for either one of the 2 major parties in November. So we urge you, if you are registered as a Democrat here in the state of Oregon, to vote for Ellen Rosenblum with a U, and make her our next Oregon Attorney General. And
let me say this. When I first heard that we had Romney and Obama, I didn't want to rush down to the polls to vote. But now that I've seen this lady, are you kidding? I can't wait to get down there and put my vote out for her. She gives me a real reason to get down there and punch that card. So everybody realize that this is somebody who's a champion in our cause.
Yeah, so we urge you again, vote yes. Vote for Ellen Rosenblum in the Democratic primary. I just got my ballot in the mail today. You may well have too. And so go ahead and remember to vote for Ellen Rosenblum for Attorney General for the state of Oregon. She has a lot of experience as a trial judge and as an attorney. She did work as a federal prosecutor, and she would become Oregon's first woman to be elected to Attorney General. We have another caller on the line, don't we? No, they're gone. We have another film clip. We're going to roll, and we'll be back in less than a minute. Here's Mr. Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food, to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
Yeah, we urge you to support OCTA. We put octa2012.org as a redirect that goes to that website that you can see there, cannabistaxact.org. A lot of people can't spell cannabis, and so or misspell it. And so...
you look at me like that's me.
Well, if the shoe fits... No, never mind.
That's why I spell it P-O-T or H-E-M-P.
Yeah, that works. That works. Well, you know, we have the web portal at hemp.org, so you can go to all of our websites, including the OCTA website, going through our portal that we're very fortunate to have at hemp.org. It's an easy one to remember.
Do you know who you might want to try to get a hold of now? I saw in the news today that in Washington, D.C., Montel Williams is going to be setting up a dispensary, and he owns one in California, too, right?
Yeah, he's got some ownership in one of the 6 approved District of Columbia dispensaries. In fact, on the very day that the U.S. Attorney for the area in Oakland, California, was cracking down on the Oaksterdam University and their cannabis shops in the city of Oakland, less than a mile away there was a murder going on. But on that very day in Washington, D.C., across the country, the first cannabis dispensaries were starting their operations and opening their offices.
Well, let's call Montel, get your little ball head down here to Oregon and help us change some laws down here. You got MS, you've spoke before Congress, you got the press, you seem to be able to march around and make things happen. You got a handful of people behind you. We could use your help. So Montel, you've done some work there in California and Washington. We need you here in Oregon, so do us a favor. Put your publicity-seeking money where its mouth is and come on over here and make this world a better place here in Oregon.
So if you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call that number that's there on your screen. It's 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448.
Was that friendly?
Huh?
Was that friendly?
That was friendly.
That was a friendly invitation?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think it was pretty friendly.
Right.
Not too bad.
All right.
So this is, let me get you to close in just a little bit farther, camera 2, if
that's
you can.
Old money.
Yeah, this is old money. This is a 1914 series $10 bill. First of all, you note that it's Andrew Jackson, who today is on the $20 bill. Way back then, he was on the $10 bill. Now, the signature of the Secretary of Treasury right here is Andrew Mellon. Maybe we can get you to close in kind of on a half bill there on camera 2. Andrew Mellon was the head of Standard Oil, what is today ExxonMobil, and was the world's largest oil company. This was his first stint as Secretary of Treasury. He was the Secretary of Treasury for 5 different presidents, between Woodrow Wilson to Herbert Hoover. And so he controlled a lot of the Treasury Department, a lot of economic policy, also the head of Mellon Bank, and he had a nephew, and his nephew was Harry Anslinger.
Oh, bite your tongue.
And Harry Anslinger, his was the first head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. Now, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics started in 1931, and it was in place until 72, when under Richard Nixon they changed the Federal Bureau of Narcotics to the Drug Enforcement Administration in the Controlled Substances Act of 1972. But Harry Anslinger is the father of hemp and cannabis prohibition. He's the one who made up the reefer madness stories and said it caused people to go insane and kill their family and friends. Now, Andrew Mellon was the head, as I said, of Standard Oil. And in Mexico in 1911, there was a revolution, as many of you may know, and Pancho Villa led the revolution, and they overthrew the Mexican government and established new government that continues today. And Pancho Villa's soldiers had a Revolutionary War song called La Cucaracha. La Cucaracha, in one line in La Cucaracha, says that the cockroach, which is what La Cucaracha is, the cockroach, smokes marijuana and then falls down. Well, Pancho Villa, when they became the revolutionary leaders and took over the government of Mexico, they nationalized the oil industry. And the oil industry magnates, such as Andrew Mellon here, did not like that at all. And so he is the one who directed, actually the first marijuana laws in the country were enacted in 1914, right about the time this $10 bill was made. Now this $10 Federal Reserve note is printed on 100% hemp paper.
Cool.
So it is made out of hemp paper. No, close in, don't go away. Don't go away. Close in, come back again.
There you go.
Come back even larger. Make it even larger, because I'm going to flip this thing over. You can't. This shows what's on the back. We see industries, which are really important, but even more important, we see them harvesting hemp. See those? Those are hemp bundles on the ground.
Isn't that detail
and
nice?
So as Don Skacke pointed out a couple of weeks ago, it's right there on the money. Industrial hemp. Not only is this made out of hemp fiber, it is shows hemp harvesting on the back of it. So this bill in particular has a lot of historical
It's one of the
notes.
most beautiful bills
notes.
done too. I think the artwork is just stunning.
Yeah, and so there it is. It's right on the money, as you can see. Get that enlarged on your HD screens at home.
And then they march into Congress and make all these silly laws.
So so this bill is particularly historic in that regard. It's a great teaching tool. That's why I decided to bring it back and talk about those various aspects of hemp and cannabis prohibition. So if you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. I believe we have a caller on the line. Welcome to the show, caller.
Thank you very much. Been watching you guys from the start and appreciate it. I had a question on the petitioners. On one of the news channels earlier this week, they alluded to there was something wrong with how the petitioners were being paid.
Yeah.
They were being very vague, but they kind of put a negative connotation on it.
Yeah,
and I
there
was
are
just wondering
actually
if you could,
two petition campaigns out there. And so there is a constitutional amendment that is seeking to make the ballot. Our initiative is not that one. The constitutional amendment petition, which is the yellow petition, if you're out there, like I said at the first of the show, paid petitioners have to circulate colored petitions, while volunteers use white petitions. And so our petition, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, is the green petition. There's another petition out there that's going for the ballot. Our petition, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, is a statutory measure and needs 87,000 signatures to qualify. We have about 75,000 now. There's another petition out there that's trying to amend Oregon's Constitution, and it is the yellow petition, and they were fined this week the largest fine against any political committee in Oregon history. They were fined $65,000 because they violated the laws, apparently. I think they're going to appeal that. Violated the laws, apparently, for paying petitioners by the signature. But to be very clear, that was the constitutional amendment that's out there, not our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act. In fact, if it had been the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, I would have been the guy to get the fine. Instead, it was the chief petitioner for this constitutional amendment.
And then Paul wouldn't have been such a happy camper, and we probably wouldn't be doing the show tonight.
No, we'd be doing the show. It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks very much, guys.
Regardless. But yeah, so the chief petitioner for this other constitutional amendment, though, was fined $65,000. This other initiative has primarily been financed by a Texas millionaire by the name of Michael Kleinman. And so he has pumped some money into that. There's some people in that organization that profit, I think, from the current status quo, and they don't like our regulatory bill to legalize hemp and cannabis so much. And so they have this three-sentence constitutional amendment that would just kind of throw the whole thing wide open. And I believe that's going to cause chaos if it was passed without some regulatory statute passed at the same time. But, you know, in my opinion, if both of the initiatives made the ballot, it would make our initiative much stronger. However, we know that Oregon voters traditionally don't support constitutional amendments as much as statutory measures. Many Oregonians, such as myself, think the Constitution's just fine and that these sorts of issues might not belong in the Constitution. So generally, constitutional amendments garner 5 to 10% less support than statutory measures. Now, our polls on our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, and we've performed 2 polls of registered Oregon voters, show that we come in with about 60 to 62% support. We get 62% support when we talk about how our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act will allow law enforcement to concentrate on real criminals, and about 60% support for industrial hemp for fuel, fiber, and food. And so I'm not sure if they've even done any polls on the constitutional amendment, but it should be noted that there are 2 marijuana petitions. We're both paying petitioners right now. Ours is the green one, and that's the statutory measure. The other one is a yellow one, and it's a constitutional amendment. And it's the yellow one that just got that $65,000 fine issued by the Secretary of State, Kate Brown, just this week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for your question. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We should note that Casper Leach here has a weekly or a daily radio show, 5 days a week, called Time for Hemp.
And it's live, and I tell you, that's what makes it a lot interesting. You never know what's going to happen on the air. Today we had intended to have somebody from the UK, and at the last minute they didn't make it, and we had room for another guest. So sometimes when you tune in, you do not know what to expect, other than a good chance to learn something and some good music.
And so your website is Time for Hemp,
Time
the
number
digit
4 hemp.com, and I'm heard
.com.
on AmericanFreedomRadio.com every Monday through Friday.
It's played on American Freedom Radio is on about 35 stations in the United States and about 5 outside of the United States.
Right.
Down in Corvallis, you can pick it up on your AM radio station.
Hi, people in Corvallis. Thank you for enjoying the program. We really appreciate you tuning in.
But anywhere else in the world, you can watch on both American Freedom, or you can listen on both American Freedom Radio.com and on timeforhemp.com.
And then I'm lucky enough to be part of your program every Friday night. And here I get to meet some people.
And we're streaming live on Ustream.tv. So if you've got friends or family anywhere in the country, as long as they have an internet connection, they can watch us at the letter U, stream.tv. We have another phone caller, though. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hey, I'd like to figure out. Hi, I'd like to find out how much the $10 bill is worth now.
I just bought it about a month ago for $105.
Holy cow! I mean, that's interesting.
I just had to get it once I found out about it, though. You know, I wanted to do my little show and tell, or as the kids say nowadays, sharing.
Sharing.
Yeah. So that answers that question. Any other question?
Thanks.
You going to share your vaporizer after the show?
I always share my vaporizer, don't I?
I love sharing.
I have to go to an event in Dallas, Texas tomorrow night.
Yeehaw!
Right about this time, and you can find out more about it at Hemp Bash. We've had the fellow from the movie Hempsters Plant the Seed on the show, and so it's the director's screening of his movie Hempsters.
He was just on my show Tuesday.
He's just on your show too. And so you can find out more about that event at hempbash.com. Any other questions? Hey, I can still hear you there on the phone. No? Okay, maybe you should turn that one down then.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, if you have a question or comment for us tonight, give us a call at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. If you want to help our petition drive or find a doctor who can help you get a medical marijuana authorization, then you can call us at 503-235-4606.
I have a question. What do you think about what Obama said about the medical marijuana tactics he was going to employ there here recently in the Rolling Stone interview?
I'm disappointed with Obama's take on the marijuana issue. He he does not support legalization. He said very clearly on a number of occasions. He said when he was a candidate running for office 4 years ago that that the federal government would not crack down on medical marijuana providers, and they have. In fact, in the state of Montana, some of my friends are facing lengthy federal prison terms. And in California and Colorado, the federal government has cracked down on, and here in Oregon, as we talked about, the former temporary U.S. attorney who's running for attorney general cracked down and stole or cut down hundreds of patients' gardens in southern Oregon. There were some community gardens, and so they went in and cut them down and plowed it up, and I bet a bunch of that marijuana ended up on the black market, as it often does. You know, that's the problem. One of the major problems with marijuana prohibition is it leads to corruption. The enormous price of this should be very inexpensive product is motivation for corruption and
you're right. Again, the TSA agents this week, they got arrested for helping to smuggle in marijuana from other countries. They were getting they got set up because the DEA got wise to it and bribed them each for $2.5 grand to let marijuana go into the country. So you're right. I mean, no matter where you go,
it leads to corruption. As an expert witness in marijuana cases, I have seen gone in and looked at harvested cannabis. The pictures they take at harvest show plants. They always came in, I'm not current these days, but they would always come in just at harvest. They would know when the harvest was. They'd come in a day or two before the harvest. The pictures would show big, huge buds. You go and look at the evidence locker, and there would be stems with all the buds trimmed off left in there. So I wonder what happened to that stuff. When I mentioned that in court, everybody tried to act like they didn't hear me.
Well, it probably just fell off of the floor.
Just fell off
those
with
buds
a nice
are fragile,
clean scissor clip there.
Well,
marijuana prohibition leads to this sort of corruption. And so we are trying to end that with our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition. We urge you to go to that website, cannabistaxact.org, where you can print out the petition and sign it and mail it in to us. You can fill out a volunteer form. We've had over 1,000 Oregonians, I think about 1,200 now, fill in that volunteer form, and we mail you petitions. You can come into our office Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. there at 2712 Northeast Sandy. Hey, they're right on top of it in the graphics
Is it a party
control room.
Tuesday nights when people come in?
Well, it's not really a party. It's a meeting. It's a meeting. And so I wouldn't call it a party, but
all right.
Okay, silly. You're getting silly.
Well, then the other thing too, when he went with this,
You're smoking your thumb or something there. I don't know what that is.
Well, so when he went to these conferences with the other American leaders, the North American, South American,
down in
they all said,
Columbia.
please, Obama, end this war on drugs. And he said,
instead of hearing about how the Latin American leaders said they want to end the drug war and they urged him to do it, he said, well, I'm against legalization. And even though they're all for it. The thing that made the media was the prostitution scandal.
Right.
So
we've had a hooker in the White House since we've had a White House.
Well, back
what a politician is.
When Kennedy was assassinated, the Secret Service, they were all out drinking and going to strip bars the night before. In fact, it's a fact that the Secret Service were involved and complicit in Kennedy's assassination. I like to call that the military coup that most people here in the United States don't even talk about. The CIA overthrew the government and shot the president back on November 22nd, 1963, and the media and the government tries to pretend that didn't happen, and most people don't realize that we had a military coup in this country and the CIA took over our government and runs it today. And I think you can look at President Obama and see he is just a puppet of this secret CIA government.
In the wrong place at the wrong time, and we were lucky to have Johnson right there to step in. I mean, golly.
It's another story. Anyway, this is the Cannabis Show, so I won't go talking about that too much right now.
But that's a conspiracy, too, this cannabis thing, because you follow the money, you realize that the people who were not making money because of this plant had to figure out a way to get rid of this plant so they could start putting money into their bank accounts and watch the rest of the world go broke.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a question or comment about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, then you can call us at 503-288-4448. Oh, you're going to call?
There's no answer.
Oh, now they're answering in there. We do have a caller. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello, am
Howdy.
I on?
You're on.
My name is David Love, and the question that I had is, if the initiative passed in October, how will that affect the medical marijuana?
Well, that's a good question. One of the things about the initiative is that it says specifically that the Oregon medical marijuana law will not be overturned. There's two laws that won't be overturned when it comes to marijuana. One is driving under the influence, which we don't amend that law, and the other one is the Oregon medical marijuana law. And we kept it in place because we don't want to scare patients about that issue. But once we legalize marijuana, you won't need a permit to grow marijuana anymore. Any adult will be able to grow their own. There won't be any artificial plant limits like, 6 plants and a pound and a half. People will be able to grow whatever they want to grow, and it will not be taxed and not be regulated. You won't need a license. Just last October, the Oregon legislature imposed a fee increase on medical marijuana patients. Patient fees went from $100 for most people to $200. And if you name someone else as your grower, you also have to pay an extra $50 fee. So many people have to pay $250 now for their medical marijuana permit that just last year cost $100. But many of the people who got the lower rate, the $20 rate, such as people on food stamps and people on the Oregon Health Plan, they now have to pay that $200 to $250 rate. There's one group of people who get supplemental security income, or SSI, from the Social Security Department. That's not SSD. If you have SSD or disability, you still have to pay the $200 rate. But patients only with SSI get the $20 rate as well. So it will allow anybody to grow your own. In addition to that, cannabis that's grown by farmers will be sold at farmer cost to patients. I think you'll see $10 an ounce, high quality marijuana for patients available in pharmacies. The Oregon...
$10 an ounce?
Yeah, even cheaper.
I haven't seen that since '72.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been 76 for me.
Wow.
But you'll be able to get, and it wasn't high grade Sensimilla back then, I can tell you. It was CD Mexican. But this will allow patients to buy cannabis at cost, not just through pharmacies, but also through state licensed stores. So, and it will allow anybody to grow their own, so we won't have to have the expensive fee increase that the Oregon legislature imposed on sick and dying patients. It's really a travesty, I think, to see the state trying to balance budget and pay for other programs on the back of the sick and ill.
Yeah, no, isn't that caring? You know, you're having problems paying for your doctor and paying for your other medications and then pay your rent, and you're sick, you can't work, and you're trying to make ends meet. And so our government, who really cares for us, and our legislature, who really wants to see us get our acts together, what do? They charge us more money for the same piece of paper. Thank you. I feel the love.
Caller? Okay, well, hopefully.
Question.
Oh, yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you answered the question, because when I called the THC clinic, I was expecting the $20. They told me it was 200 something.
Yeah, 200 and maybe, and that's the state fee. You got to realize that. That's what you have to pay the state of Oregon. That's not a fee that we charge.
Right.
You know, you had qualified for the $20 fee, so your fee has increased at least 1,000%. And if you name someone else as your grower, it's gone up 1,250%. You have to pay $250 now instead of $20. That's really, I'm sorry. We tried to stop it. It was hidden in a big budget bill. So.
And our caller had the same reaction as
we're about out of time, though.
As the agents who guarded the president did when the hooker said 200 and they went $20. They went 200.
Thanks for your call. Good question.
Thank you.
We are out of time. Thanks for watching another show. We will be back next week right here at the same time, same station. We're going to go over, and it looks like both John Cornette and Jan Sue have some pretty fancy instruments. You've got a dulcimer that you're using, and what's that one there, Jan Sue?
This is a mandolin.
A mandolin.
Tater bugs. So this
Tater
song's
bug.
going to be Sliding on the Tater Bug.
Sliding on the Tater Bug. All right. Well, I want to thank all you guys for watching. We will be back next week, same time, and help us restore hemp. Good night.